So that was quite a day yesterday. After a call with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, U.S. President Donald Trump decided to pause the planned 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. But despite the 30-day delay, Canadians are still, let's be blunt about it, pissed. There are many Canadians who feel outraged by calls to become the 51st state, and across the country there have been collective calls to buy Canadian. Are you looking for made in Canada things?
Yes, completely. So far, I've been able to get everything that was either Canada or Spain or some other place, but I've just been looking at the lettuce, and I can't find so far anything that's not USA.
Why are you doing this?
Because of the tariffs. Yeah, it's a protest for sure.
Brian, I've never seen quite a day like Saturday in Canada. It was a crap show, and everyone basically shot themselves thinking that they may not have a job at the end of the week. There's thousands of people in the auto sector that have worked in the auto sector in Ontario for generations. Their parents did, their kids will or are. They weren't sure if that was all going away instantly. There are small businesses unsure if they could proceed. This affected everyone, and it is the reason I really want to bring it up is because I don't think anyone else in the world outside Canada really knows what is going on here. This is a big deal, and people are frightened and pissed because the United States, most of our listeners are from the United States, and you're smart and you know what's going on in the world, but you may not know. Your media is not covering it the way that it is actually happening here. And, you know, Costco was busy. People were stocking up. People were trying to find, you know, to punish Trump by not buying U.S. to, you know, if red states can't sell their liquor here, maybe, you know, a politician will put pressure on them. But it is, you know, we have a close relationship with the United States, obviously, and we're very similar in a lot of ways, but we are also proud that we are not the United States. This is a clip from CNN. Jake Tapper talking to Mark Carney, who's going to be a candidate for prime minister, but he used to be the Bank of Canada and Bank of England head. But anyway, this is what Jake said to him on the TV.
President Trump keeps bringing up the idea of Canada becoming the 51st state. Listen to what Prime Minister Trudeau told me on this show last month.
Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian. One of the ways we define ourselves most easily is, well, we're not American.
Kind of a curious answer. I don't define myself as not being Phil Mattingly.
Hey, Jake, he was putting you down. He was dissing your country, and you didn't get that because you live in a fucking bubble. Well, he doesn't like you. Canada is proud of the way we are. If I lived in the States, Brian, I'd be dead by now, several times over because of health care. I would not have access to health care. I barely have access to this novelty hat, which I had to spend the life savings to get. And it's the worst hat I've ever seen. The worst hat I've ever, but I'm wearing it because it's a Canada hat. There's been a lot of crap going on. My son works at an engineering firm as an intern on the West Coast, and they shat themselves because all their their costs are all, you know, up in the air. They've costed projects out, and it's complete chaos. And you could have said, well, you knew that he was going to screw you, but he also said, Trump said, you know, there's nothing you can do. So we asked, there's nothing you can do. Well, it's actually about, you know, the border, putting soldiers on the border. Well, protect your own goddamn border. Why do we have to protect your border? Your soldiers aren't trained to hunt drug people. They're trained to hunt other soldiers. That's not their job. And then, of course, there's this banter about the 51st state becoming the 51st state. Well, we're the same size as California. And guess what? We also vote that way. We vote like California. Yeah, we have pockets of rural areas that don't vote for progressive candidates, but if you did that, there would be 343 more seats in the U.S. House, 2 for the Senate, and 345 electoral votes in total in a state that mostly has no love for Trump or his kind. Canadian polls showed that 80% of support was for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, north of the border last election. So, wait till these jackasses at the White House figure this out. They'll stop joking about this because there would never be another Republican leadership in the United States ever again. I'm sure they would try to radicalize us, but Canadian MP Charlie Angus responded to President-elect Donald Trump's proposal to make Canada the 51st state by noting that existing laws prevent sexual abusers from leading this nation. So that's a bit of a problem. I don't know what to tell you. People are generally pissed, and I think what is broken is not going back together, that there is a trust that has been permanently lost in our cousins, our brothers and sisters in the United States, the government there. We are looking at other trade options. It's even been floated to join the European Union. It's been floated by people in the areas of stuff that we talk about to open our, if the auto industry is dead, then open it up to China and let the Chinese EVs come in. Fred Lambert was one of the people from Electric who said, that. So I don't know. I just wanted everyone to know that this is a very unique day in Canada where left and right has come together for the first time, which is refreshing. It only lasted a few hours, but it was very refreshing to be on the same page. It reminds me of the good old days before COVID, before craziness, when we were all kind of together, and before social media, when we started fighting against each other, and it was basically bringing up politics at the, dinner table, which is something you just don't do. I just wanted everyone to know out there, especially our American friends, that this was a big deal. I certainly don't hold it against you. It's the government, but it's been very tough on our country. And, I've been joking about Greenland, but that's not very fun either. They do have a lot of clout, Greenland. They have Ozempic. 15% of Americans take Ozempic, and which is a lot, actually. And probably 50% of them should take Ozempic. I'm on the list for bariatric surgery. My doctor involuntarily put me on it. She said, well, it's like a 3-year wait. We'll just put you on. I said, but I don't want to be mutilated on the inside. And yeah, we'll just put you on because, it'd be cheaper to take Ozempic than have a surgery if the government paid for my Ozempic, but they won't. So I don't take it. And I'm going to die one of these days. Yeah, that's my rant, Brian. Thank you for listening. What's new?
Yeah, we do have public health care in Canada, of course, but it doesn't always cover everything, especially drugs. That drug coverage has never been universal. So, we have gaps in our system, but yeah, just that alone would keep Canadians from voting for right-wing parties because we're just so proud of our healthcare system, and again, especially compared to America. So that's not something we're going to give up, I don't think.
No.
I do know that the U.S. national anthem was booed at some major sporting events, so I kind of assumed that probably got some coverage in the U.S., but I'm not sure.
It did. Yeah, it did. And Americans, if they're not paying close attention, might say, well, Canadians are a-holes and that we're booing America. We're really booing the White House.
Yeah.
When you hear that, don't take it personally because, like I said, it's not something you've done, the American citizens. I mean, you kind of feel bad when you hear a lot of silence coming from America when this is happening, but it's probably because they really don't understand it. And because it's utter chaos. Like, everything else that's going on in America right now is utter chaos, like firing FBI agents and everything that Musk is doing with tapping into computers. I mean, it's a crap show one after another. So I can understand how Canada may not be your first concern, but believe me, it's the biggest deal in my lifetime of anything. It's like the Cuban Missile Crisis, practically.
Yeah, and it's not just trade war with Canada, it's kind of trade war with everybody, and I kind of expect that to go on for the next 4 years or so.
Join the Clean Energy Show's Clean Club with a YouTube channel membership or on Patreon and support our weekly climate programming. Get early access to all our videos and podcasts, as well as members-only bonus content, Discord server access, and a monthly bonus podcast from Brian and James. The Clean Energy Show is released every week wherever you get audio, as well as YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.